We're live.
Hey, we're live now. I'm sorry I wasn't. It's beginnings. I always start out rough and end out great, from my
Right.
experience. We are live now. Sorry about that for all those that are on. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, or X live at this present moment. You missed some great information about SEAT, but we'll be happy to readdress that real quick. So,
Yeah.
back up just a tiny bit and then continue.
Yeah. So we were talking before we just went live there. We were talking about this meme coin mania that's going on with retail traders and everything like that. And like my experience with it, obviously running this token SEAT is, I mean, the den of thieves in this meme coin world is unbelievable. Like early on when I launched it, I got my wallet hacked. They stole all my tokens. I worked without tokens for quite a while before the community kind of lifted me up again. And and then we had more challenges. I mean, they're launching thousands a day, and so to be able to stand out while that's happening is a ton of work. And then we had you probably saw over the weekend, meme coin mania, all these retail trader focused ones with the Zach and Moon and everything like that. And I think we all kind of cannibalized each other a little bit, you know what I mean, and got to a point where we were all feeding from the same audience, and then when one sold off, the rest did. So when the dust settles, we'll see. But we're releasing exciting new content. I've got some and then you've got Caitlyn Jenner releasing a token.
What?
Yeah,
Is it a
Caitlyn
confused
Jenner
coin?
released a token. You've got just crazy stuff going on.
Caitlyn Jenner
Let me
putting out
see
a
if I
coin.
can
What's it called?
actually Jenner. And then it got done. It got destroyed as well. And so I had a video. I released a video of Chris, pretend Chris, interviewing pretend Caitlyn. And let me see if I can share that video with you here. See here. Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Okay. And then I'll actually, you know what I'll do? I can do it on a different screen.
Hey, Spots Trader, I invited you to speak so you could confirm whether or not you're still having issue with hearing sound.
So then we, there it is there. Just make sure everything is good here. Yeah.
So Spots Trader was saying he's not hearing any sound on his end. I'm wondering.
Oh, really?
What's up with that? Because I didn't change anything from when we left a little bit ago. If you guys would give me an emoji if you don't hear anybody else talking but me. One request to speak.
See, I don't know if my screen is sharing now, but we've been.
I don't see what. Oh, show on stream. There you go.
Yeah, so we had Chris.
From Solana to Ethereum. Well, I thought Ethereum might be a better fit for the project's future.
Can't hear it though.
Can't hear it.
Right, but let's talk
nope.
about the people who believed in your project on Solana. They invested their hard-earned money, and then you just vanished. What do you have to say to them?
So we have, so we had Chris interviewing Caitlyn and stuff like that, and hopefully we start picking up the slack here a little bit, because it's been a wild weekend of selling across retail trader tokens for sure, big time. Big time selling.
All right, I'm approving Spots Trader to talk for a second so he can let us know about the sound. Spots, what's up, man?
Hey, nothing. I mean, we got people coming in spaces and then just leaving because I imagine they can't hear anything either.
I can hear you just fine. Can you guys hear Spots?
Yes, quiet,
Hear
but
anyone else, but
Yeah, we can hear him.
Oh,
I've got the live stream now since you turned it on.
you know what? Hold
I
on.
can see your.
I know what it is.
Okay. I can't hear anyone else but you.
Huh, there we
that's
go.
weird. I was listening into the spaces and I could hear you.
So, Spots Trader, can you talk again?
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. My phone wasn't connected to Bluetooth to the Roadcaster. So, can you guys hear Spots Trader clear? Louder?
He's kind of quiet, but
Can you guys hear me, Pat? I can hear you now. Cheeto?
Yes, I can hear you.
Gotcha. Okay, that's better.
We have liftoff. You know how hard it is to get a ton of new equipment, figure out how to make everything run right, and then make sure all the kinks are worked out. So this is the first one. We're just having an open mic. We're going to be, now that we've figured out how everything goes together, we'll be bringing companies on here and having live shows. So thanks, guys, for your patience. Thanks, Spots Trader, for being willing to take time to go through all the sound checks and everything. I appreciate it, man. Does that mean you couldn't hear anything Pat said before?
Affirmative. Nothing. Not a single thing.
how about now? You can hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear. Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
So Pat
Rerun.
told the story twice without anybody hearing.
It was just practice. Practice makes perfect.
It was a good idea.
That's insane.
So pull back up the seat video. So
Okay,
basically,
let me
just
get
to recap what he was saying, there's been a ton of flack coming from people because quite a few meme coins have had problems with getting hacked and having issues. People thought that, there's unscrupulous things going on, but honestly, Seat, for instance, got hacked. They stole a bunch of his coin out of his
All of
wallet,
them.
and they sold all of his coin and sold it in open market. Tanked coin a little bit, and people started picking up the pieces. And then the community behind Seat got together and was able to help reestablish Pat with enough token to have control again. I mean, it's a beautiful situation when people trust in you and believe in you that much. And he was sharing what's been going on with Seat in the market. So that's what we're talking about at the present moment as people join the room.
You had a lot of different tokens coming out with regard to traders. So there was originally, Seat and then Graph, the smoking giraffe, and then you had the Zach token come out, which made just an incredible move, which took a lot of the audience. And then you had a Moon Market token come out, which also made an incredible move. And then both of them started selling off. And then in response, anything because we shared an audience, anything in that space started sharing off. You know what I mean? Like, it was like this big incestuous cannibalization. And so now we're kind of regrouping with some new content and starting with some new different stuff. And so we've got videos like I was explaining that Caitlyn Jenner released a coin over the weekend, and now Iggy Azalea's got a coin, and it's just unbelievable. And so we decided, and then Caitlyn Jenner's coin dumped on everyone and then she made a new coin, which is just it's just ridiculous, the whole situation. And then so we thought we would have Chris, my fictional character, who may be based on someone. I'm not going to say for sure, but he interviewed Caitlyn. Let's see here.
I thought it'd be
Today.
called Confused Coin, not Jenner.
There we go. So I let's see if you can hear this video now. Go ahead and yeah. So we got
Meme coin that, well, let's just say it didn't go as planned. Let's find out what happened. Caitlin, thanks for joining us. Let's get straight to the point. You launched a meme coin on Solana, and it seems to have, how do I put this lightly, left a lot of people holding an empty bag.
Well, you know, meme coins are tricky. Sometimes they take off, and sometimes they don't.
Tricky, you say? More like a magic trick gone wrong.
so that's what we got. We're getting into more content.
Tell me, what made you decide to pull the ultimate Houdini and switch chains from Solana to Ethereum?
Well, I thought Ethereum might be a better fit for the project's future. It's a bigger platform, more established.
Right. But let's talk about the people who believe.
So that's kind of what we're working on to get back out there, because with these Web3 people, it's really about content and presentation, and you know what I mean. So we're getting out there. We're putting Chris on the case of all sorts of blockchain crimes.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's what's happening in meme coin world, and there's been a ton of selling, a ton of scares, and you know, this is all brand new to retail stock traders. And you know, it's been the craziest part is to see the buying and selling behavior. I mean, people be buying, you know, thousands of dollars worth and then just dump it because they're chasing the next thing. And it's funny to see how retail actually trades without market makers kind of stabilizing the thing. And for so long, they've been so angry at market makers. And then when you trade something without them, it's insanity. It's insanity. So, I mean, Shido, I know you've been watching these charts. What do you think?
Yeah, it's wild. Actually, I was shocked on the last few days to watch this stuff, because I thought retail has a real chance in some of these, like Seed and Graph and some of these, just because they could lock down, you know, most of the float, and then it's inevitable that it's going up. But instead, I mean, they trade like crazy. They take profits and losses at this, like in minutes. Yeah, it just goes to show you that a lot of the arguments against the OTC, or what is better in the meme coins, like which happened out there like in the last few weeks, were not justified. I guess. I mean, at least for now. I have no idea how they go forward with these meme coins, but I mean, they still have liquidity. That's for sure, more than a lot of the OTCs lately. But I'm really disappointed, and I'm also disappointed in the dishonesty that I have seen again in some of the cases. Influencers, they go on spaces, they tell everybody that it's something for weeks and months. Then, like the next day, I heard they go dump their coins, and it's I cannot understand how anybody can sleep at night if you do something like this. But apparently people don't care. They just follow these guys, and then you have rucks happening, I guess.
Yeah, you know, and it's just and people have been mad at me lately for getting, you know, being so focused on this. But you know, the thing is, like, you can't do anything if you don't like totally immerse yourself in it. You know what I mean? You have to be immersed in it. You have to live it, walk it, talk it, and dive in head first to be able to understand how it works. And if there's any chance to be successful at it, you have to go all in. And you know, and I have been doing that, and it's hard to focus on both things sometimes when you're this deep. But you know, I really would have regretted, like, there is a future in this for people, but I would have regretted only giving it a half measure. You know what I mean? Like, I had to go all the way. And
No,
you
I think
know,
it's
and
great what you did.
yeah,
I mean, would have done the same. Either you do it full or not at all. And
yeah.
I there is a huge chance for retail. That's why I got involved in some of these that actually have a purpose and have the chance of locking down a float. But I guess last week was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah,
But
just too much cannibalization. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
No, I was listening. I haven't said anything. Yeah, cannibalization. Look, it's a new wave. And
Yeah.
with any new wave, you're going to get a ton of people jump on the bandwagon. A lot of really unscrupulous people know that they can take advantage of people because no one knows what they're doing yet. They're all just figuring it out.
Yeah.
And if they can get ahead of it, they can really strip people of a lot of cash. That's what's happened. But I believe that they've been sitting in the crypto markets for a long time. They learned how to get around and hack people's wallets. They've been doing these phishing scams and stuff for quite a while. It's a tough situation when you're spending all your time trying to invest in building something, learning everything you can about it, diving in real deep, and somebody steals your wallet information. That just it's a game changer. It's messed up because unlike anything else, crypto, you can't find out where the hell it went. You're not going to find it.
No.
It makes no sense to me. That's something completely new. I mean, if somebody steals my wallet, I know how to find them.
Right.
But if they steal my
and that was
crypto
the thing.
wallet,
Like,
I'm out of gas.
yeah, the guy who stole my tokens, he's in Africa. You know, I mean, I can't kick his ass in person. You know,
You found out where it was? I mean, or is that speculation?
he's in Africa. Yeah. So there's nothing I can do.
Yeah. Wow.
I know.
Like, what do you do? Call the African authorities and be like, hey, somebody over there stole my stuff?
Yeah,
How'd they
exactly.
take it? Well, they hacked my wallet. Where do
They
I
hacked
find
my
them? I
wallet,
don't know.
yeah. No, I mean, it's just vaporized. That's it.
Yep.
You know, and we tracked down the wallet that all the money went to, and there's $1 million sitting in it of stolen funds.
And that wasn't just from your coin, right?
No, shit, no. I mean, for me, I think maybe it was maybe 20 grand. But so it goes to show how many times he's done that scam.
Be careful out there, guys.
Yeah.
And that's one reason we want to bring the OTC back.
Yes.
That stuff doesn't happen in OTC. They can't go hack your brokerage fund and steal your shares. It doesn't work like that. You know, there's a physical chain of ownership. It's great. There's some good things about OTC or trading stocks in general.
Yep.
Let's talk about some stocks for a brief second. I pulled up the market activity page on OTC markets real quick because I saw something that blew my mind. INRE. I pulled up a chart. Let me share that. Where is it? Look at this. $12 a share. It's OTC, but it dropped down to $1.46. Somebody bought the dip and it popped right back to $12. So they're up. What was this? 342,000%. There's only $61,000 worth of volume today, but that was a trade. Whoever figured that out made some bank.
Let's take a look here. I'm just looking at the time and sales. Jeez Louise.
They nailed it.
It looks like it was just one transaction. That was it. Isn't that crazy? Just an out of sequence trade.
Yeah.
Weird.
And if you look, here's what I look at. I mean, for all those that are actually on and can see now, the dollar volume. Who cares how many shares traded? This thing traded 85 million shares, but it was only $8,000. UBQU, everybody knows that symbol. It was only $8,000 worth of volume, so it really doesn't amount to anything. So as I scroll down through, I'll stop if it's above 10 grand in a day because that's like small trading gain stuff you can have.
Yeah.
But here we go. $101,000 of a 25-cent stock, up 77%. Good gain. CAMNF. That was a stock you can get in and out like this one. PPCB. They did 215,000 in volume, up 72%. They traded a bunch of shares, and you can get in and out of the stock in a day if you're day trading, but that's reasonable volume. I'm going to see who they are.
Yeah, PPCB's been the bane of my existence, as Shido well knows, for many years. Probably
Popank
about
Biopharma.
5 years ago. So it's a multiple split offender, split dump moon, split dump moon. And about 5 years ago, they made a move that would just blow you away. It was the most unbelievable move out of Dubs. And then last year, was it this last year at this time, or maybe the year before, they were post split near trips. I picked it up waiting for them to do it all over again. Never happened. It was just nonstop selling. They split again and are now back down here again, and finally got this big shot of volume today. And at some point they're going to run this thing. I mean, I know they will. That's how they operate. But is this the time? It's tough because if you're wrong, you take pretty heavy duty haircuts. But if you're right, man, look out.
Yeah. What else do we see on market activity today? Any famous tickers we're used to? PHBI. I mean, you see they were up 57%, did over $50,000 in volume. They're a double O stock.
Yep.
Yeah, we had actually a couple of good runs out there in the last few days. A couple of like known dilution stocks had some nice runs. Yesterday, the RSPI. I mean, we know these stocks well, obviously, Pat and I, but it's so hard to get involved with these, because there is so many false starts on these all the time, and then you never know if they just knock it down again with dilution, and at some point they don't, and then it has a huge run. I mean, it's hats off to anybody who grabbed these in the last few days and who made money on these, because that's not easy. On these
Electromedical Technologies, EMED, up 41%, did almost $100,000 in trading today. It seems like we're seeing some money come back. They even have a yield sign.
Yeah.
RSPI as well. RSPI is actually is pretty delinquent, actually. I mean, they still have like 4 more weeks until grace period, but so there's plenty of time. But what
a move!
A few weeks ago, nobody would have touched a yield stock because they were afraid that it goes expert. Now suddenly the guys from yesterday they didn't care, obviously, because. Or maybe they know it's not imminent expert. I have no idea, but it was interesting to see.
They had a great move.
Huge move, yeah.
So you're spending all this time on the meme coin stuff, Pat. Are you still looking at OTC stuff at all?
I'm trying to. It's just like like I was hoping at this point, with all the road bumps that we've hit on this seat, like first we had the hack, then we had the influencer betrayal, then we had all the other stock trader tokens just shatter the volume. And so it's been like every time I think like, hey, you know what, today is a day that I can finally get back to working on some OTCs and have a little bit of balance. I get hit with a frixicle, you know what I mean? And so hopefully we get this back on track and I can get a little bit more focused on both. But right now it's very tough to do both because it's just so in your face all the time. You know what I mean? It's craziness. but I'll be back for sure. Hopefully we'll get this nice and on track. And I'm beginning to delegate a lot of different things now to trusted holders, and I'm going to be able to do more and more and more. But I mean, and I have been mad at the OTC as well. Like not forever, but I've been very disappointed with it, and have had regrets about doubling down on it when things got slow. You know what I mean? And so to see some volume really coming back and get better would make my day, because I never wanted to do anything else. But I couldn't turn a trade for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it can get better here.
I like to see it get better.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having some hope out of quite a few different stocks that are all of a sudden popping up, making runs, and
Yeah.
I don't think there's any algorithm or anything that would pick it up, because it seems really random.
It does, and it's funny. We were just talking about that on RSPI yesterday, Shido and I, about like how ridiculous it is. Like out of nowhere on a SEC delinquent badge, it just pops off with like 1.4 mil. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, like why? No one knows why, other than I'm sure the note holder that was drumming up the volume. But
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So we also have a space running. So if anybody has a stock they want to talk about, Ryan Shadle's in the house. Ryan, why don't you go ahead and join the live stream? I sent you a link in your email to your email address. I almost said it online. Accept the invite and come on the live. Come on, man. Don't be scared. Or if you're still in a meeting and you do see the live, at least give me an emoji or something letting me know you see the live. I mean, I want to hear what you think about it later. I'll give him a minute. So now that we got this up and running, I want to hear from people. Oh, don't see the link. Went to R. Shadle. Outbox. I want to hear from people on what companies they want us to get on live stream. And don't just randomly say what companies you want. Like, actually, if you have a connection or a way to get us in touch with the company, that would be great. I promise to follow up on every single opportunity that someone puts in front of me, because I want to hear the information too firsthand. I think all of the people on deserve that. Let me send you another invite, I guess. All right. Hey, Ryan, I just sent you another link. It just says invite, and all I put in there was a link. So it shouldn't be able to be missed. What's up, Arrested Stock Development? How you doing? Welcome to our spaces. We're also live. So if you're not on a space, you can go to Twitter, and on the right-hand side in your column, you'll see there's a live link now. You can stay in space and listen back. Thanks, Spots Trader. Appreciate it. Hobo's like, how about CRCW? What's up with that? Let's look.
It's the Bitcoin thing.
Yeah.
I'm up good on my Bitcoin. I don't know about y'all. I know
Bitcoin itself is doing well. It's just CRCW, which is into Bitcoin, is struggling. I mean, and with a lot of these Bitcoin plays lately, you would have been better off to just buy Bitcoin. Buy actual Bitcoin.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Every time it gets to around 60, 62, somewhere between 60 and 62, because right now I don't think it's going to drop below that. I pick up more. I buy what I can when I can, and it pops right back up to 70 almost. I believe we're going to break through that 70,000 mark and keep moving.
Yeah.
I know Ryan's betting on that. I mean, he's sitting there mining as much Bitcoin as he can.
No, I mean, it's just, and now with the halving, it's craziness. It's just craziness, and it's just going to make them more and more rare. Every time it halves, it's harder to buy Bitcoin. It's harder to mine a Bitcoin, and it's just going to go and go and go.
Yeah, it's JRCW, the crypto co. It doesn't have a lot of volume, man. It has a tiny bit of a move. It made a move back in March. But Hobo, you gotta show us what you're looking at. Talk to us. Raise your hand, man. We can hear. By the way, for all those in the spaces, if you raise your hand and we invite you up to speak, everybody on the live stream will be able to hear you, but we won't see you. I'm bringing Ryan on. Ryan, what's up?
What's up, baby? How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, everybody else can. You're live with JRC Stock Talk, man.
Hell yeah, let's go. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for this. I don't have my webcam hooked up, bro.
I see that.
I tried to access on my phone, and it would not let me.
Here, I thought you were just like calling us in your underwear, chilling on the deck with a fat cigar or something.
Man, would that be great? Yeah. I miss those days. Yeah. No, not so much. It's all work, very little play here lately. Have you seen what's happening in the OTC? There's a lot of work to be done, brother.
There is. That's what we're part of making happen, man. That's why buy all this equipment and are going with the live streaming now. It looks a lot better than just a space with no faces.
No, I like this format a lot.
It's just the beginning, man. We did this with what? Pat, we finished this like all of 15 minutes before we went live.
Yep.
So is this the new format going forward?
Yeah. We'll run spaces. We'll be live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And I can add any platform to live that I want. But this is the format.
I like it. I like it a lot. Does somebody have chickens in the background?
No.
Me.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got chickens in the background, man. I mean, some fox ate 20 of my girls.
Oh, they will,
18 of my girls and 2 roosters, but I still have 2 roosters left, so you'll hear them crowing in the background.
We get black snakes here, and occasionally a raccoon.
Black snakes aren't going to hurt a chicken, are they?
They'll eat the chicks and the eggs for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Well, a fox just trotted right through my yard and took 12 babies that I just raised, and the very first day I let them out to go range around the yard with the big ones was their only day out in freedom. They had one day of freedom and they were gone, all 12. That's not why we're here. We're here to talk about stocks. We were just talking about the move that Bitcoin's making, and I don't think it's going to drop below 60,000 a coin anymore. I don't think it's going to see that day for quite a while. Like you were expecting, you're thinking it might be able to pass 100,000 per coin. And I was just saying every time I see it drop some, I buy more and buy more because I'm just trying to, get as much of a position as I can in the actual coin. One of the people on chat on Spaces was saying, look at CRCW. But, again, some of these crypto stocks, I mean, you would know better than anybody because you have one, but it's like a trailing effect on what the crypto market's doing. I mean, would you agree with that, or what are your comments?
Yeah. So there are a couple things here. On the one hand, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, I think you buy a little every week, every month, like if you're long-term, as part of your long-term portfolio. you don't have to be a great trader. You just need to buy some a little bit every week, every month. If you have been doing that, since 2020, you're green no matter what price you paid, right? So that's the one thing. Okay, so prior to the ETF, the only way a family fund or an institutional investor could get access to Bitcoin exposure was to buy MicroStrategies or buy a miner. The problem with buying a miner is you're not buying direct access to Bitcoin. You're buying the risk they have as operating as a miner, which is profitable at times, not profitable at other times. So now that you can just buy a Bitcoin exposure to the ETF, yeah, I mean, buying a miner is a lot less appealing than it once was, in my opinion. But I do think, as far as Bitcoin goes, it's a matter of time. Eventually, it will be $1 million per coin.
Wait,
that
what?
Might be in 5 years. Who knows?
$1 million a coin. That's one hell of a move, man. I'm going to sell my house.
Eventually, it's going to $1 million. It might take 10 years. It might take 20 years. I don't know. But eventually, I mean, we're never going to be an environment where the United States is not printing dollars. We're always going to print dollars. We're printing dollars right now. Like they're literally, like a couple days ago, the Fed, the Reserve, I forget exactly what it was, but there was a repurchase. Basically, it's going to inject $2 billion a month back into the monetary system. It's like a hidden QE, basically, right? But yeah, we're always going to be printing dollars. And so, yeah, eventually Bitcoin goes to $1 million. The same way the house that somebody bought for 6 potatoes in 1950 is worth $1 million. Same thing.
So what's your thought on us getting the CEO of LTNC on a live video thing and getting Manny Pacquiao to join us?
Well, Manny Pacquiao does not speak great English.
People just need to see his face.
He does speak he does speak multiple languages, but yeah. I mean, I could probably get Tom Zaro on. Pacquiao's a whole different other thing. He's in a whole different tier, brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if we're gonna really get some exposure for LTNC and do a nice show, Manny Pacquiao will pack it in. No pun intended.
Well, he would pack it in. I mean, I can make a call. You know what I mean? See what happens.
We're in place.
By a DM. Yeah. You never know. But I definitely think you can get Tom Zaro on. And he can always ask Manny to attend. There's some other people that might be connected that might be interesting to have on also, But we'll save that for another day.
Okay. All right now. So I'm glad we're on. We're just kind of running like an hour or so of Stock Talk chat. So everybody knows this is our new platform. This is our new setup. If you want to donate in the top left-hand corner of the screen, by all means, hit the QR code up. Any dollar you give is going to go to expanding the awareness of our Stock Talk show. And it's all about bringing some liquidity to the OTC markets, bringing some community back to traders that want to see things move, and getting behind stocks with some real meat and due diligence behind them. Not just these phantom, I call them phantom pumps, where all of a sudden you're seeing some phantom volume come into a stock that has no business moving at all because it has the right stock structure. I mean, there's companies with real business involved that have good stock structure and deserve the attention and can really generate some good gains for people. And they're not easy to manipulate in those moments. So it's better if, the whole community can hear from a company what the real due diligence is behind it, where they're going, what kind of projection there is without any pumpy stuff, and, see a track record of financials backing it up. If they're emerging growth, great. If you haven't hit the market with your products, okay, what money's going into R&D? What agreements do you have in place? What, licensing do you have in place? When is your plan projection with releasing your products into the market? What type of margins you operate at? I mean, all these questions are really what we want to get to the bottom of, because ultimately, as a community, we all want to make some money, and we don't want to do it with some random companies. We're going to get left holding the bag. So that's my spiel. I'm glad everybody's here. Anybody have a stock they want to talk about? I know Stock Awareness is chiming off. Does anybody else have any comment? Apparently, he said Trump got found guilty on all charges. What the
He
hell
did.
is going on with this society now? Is that
I mean,
serious?
I wasn't there in the courtroom, but yikes. I mean, this is going to be chaos.
Yeah, it's serious. Yeah, all 34 charges or something, guilty.
Well, that's going to affect some financial pockets for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he affects a lot of different companies and stocks. That's just going to be a mess.
Yeah, real chaos.
It's so wild out there.
So Ryan, while we got you on, what's MVCO doing?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Since we have you on, what's MVCO doing?
Oh,
Besides mining Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, we're mining Bitcoin and mostly just watching no liquidity in the OTC. You know, we're watching, I got to tell you, man, I think somebody's got to do something, man. We need something that's, you got LTNC, you got, that came back and there's some liquidity come back in, but then it kind of dried up. There's been a few others that moved recently. GTVH was popping. If you're sub penny, that's your best shot, right? And maybe I should forward split this thing like 100-1. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I got Tom Zaro. He's a big investor in MVCO. He calls me every day. He's like, Ryan, what the F, man? Why is this thing, sitting at 4 cents? What's going on? So, it's going to take some structural change, man, and I think we can be a part of it. And I'm hoping that's where we're going.
Dude, there are some companies getting some decent liquidity. I mean, we were talking about before we pulled up the advancers in OTC markets and looked at the chart, and there's PPCB has like 215,000 in volume as far as money. I don't care about the shares, I care about the volume. There's quite a few that had over 14,000. CNPOF had over 400,000 in volume. GGEI had over 100,000. There are some stocks getting liquidity, but it's really, like we were saying a minute ago, it's kind of random. I mean, it's not like an algorithm's going to pick it up. It's like all of a sudden, bam, one day certain stocks are moving. TPTW did about $340,000 in volume today, and they're a trip stock. So there are some stocks getting it.
The trips are still, and have been for a while, one of the few places to find some liquidity. I just don't know what it's going to take to move beyond that to some of these more fundamental companies that have, actual, business prospects beyond the trading of the stock. And the thing is, I feel like most of the trading that is happening is literally just situations where it's sub penny. Somebody gets in with some firepower, moves it around. People see the volume, they jump on it. But even those, if you look, a few days later, they're back down. They're not even staying. They're not running. I mean, GTVH is a great example. That's really great news over a couple of days. It ran up to 1.5 and then it just died. So, and that's probably, like, fundamentally speaking, probably some of the best news I've seen, for a stock that under a penny. But
now I'm going to ask a hard question.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not have the answer, and that's fine. I'm sharing a chart of GTVH just so everybody can see what's up. Is that because they ran out of money for promotion?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it promotional money that boosted the stock to begin with? I mean,
well, I don't know that either. I'll tell you. I mean, I see people, tweeting and stuff like that, but those people have no reach. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something happened here. If you go back about 8 days, there was some buying, and it looked like, you can see the volume buildup, right?
Yeah.
And then there was news, and then there was another day with news, and then it just ran out of gas. I don't know if it was promotional. I don't know if it was wash trading. I really don't know. I'm in it. I actually own some now. And I'll probably look to buy some more, if we continue to dip. I mean, I don't, I don't understand it, and I mean, we see it all the time, right? And it's just, there's just not a lot of stay power. I mean, I feel like what little liquidity we do have, people are in and out, and they're not sticking around.
I think
Yeah,
the
because they had
trouble
a
that I've
run.
had. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
So yeah, the trouble that I've had with it, and part of the kind of the source of some of my frustration with it has been like you look at it on the whole and you say, well, this had some volume, that had some volume, whatever, or that moved, but the precision with which you would have to operate to catch, one random move that lasts 2 days, and the probability of hitting the right one when there's really no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, it drove me to insanity, like where I'd be like, okay, this is a good setup, this is a good catalyst, and then zero volume, and then something that's SEC delinquent will pull $1 million, and you don't know why, you know what I mean? And so it's like it's easy. I found it easy to look at it in hindsight and then kick myself for being like, why didn't I buy that? But then I go, well, why would I have bought it? Like what would have been the reason to buy it? I don't know. And that's the frustration I'm having lately, is that, something for no reason will get drummed up. Like on GTVH, I mean, they had some good news and stuff, but that action was some either a market maker or note holder action where they were drumming up volume because there was really nothing really new at that time, and same with RSPI yesterday. I mean, SEC delinquent running. How could I replicate that? You know what I mean? And that's what's pissing me off lately.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and even the ones that do go, they don't last. It's a few days, and you're right. The precision you have to operate on is just bring back the swing plays, man.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of exposure to this. I'm looking forward to bringing a lot of exposure to stocks that really are good companies and have good stock structures, aren't overladen with the debt, and can move good. So as a community, we can get behind something and maybe pull off a AMC or GME type of move with one of these. It only takes like a community doing something like that with one stock for people to start to get behind it. I mean, it's not unseen or unheard of. Somebody was saying, who was it? Arrested Stock Development was saying that a lot of the OTC pharma companies got slapped today. I wonder how many
Yeah, they did.
companies are on OTC markets that are pharma companies.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It was RSPI yesterday, and then PPCB a bit today, and there was another one, maybe ENDV. There was some action there. I mean, all of them are atrocious diluters. And the question is, you buy one because it's moving, but there's nothing really new going on. Like, are you going to sleep comfortably tonight? Like, will you sleep peacefully tonight, being in them overnight? And because it's not
No.
like look at that. And then this is today, a 40% haircut and SEC delinquent. It could be gray tomorrow. And PPCB, at least it's current, but I mean, it's a similar stressor because they're 3 reverse splits deep in the last 3 years. I don't know how to hold that. And if you want to get into a bigger discussion about what's so irritating about it, is that apparently this 3 splits in 3 years and infinite selling is protecting retail. Like you really want to get into it. This is protection, apparently. You know what I mean? And that also irritates me. So I don't know what to do with these. I mean, and look at it now. There's like no volume now. It's headed straight down. I mean, could you pick up a dip, or will you get zeroed out like it was last summer before the split? I think Josh left. I was getting too worked up. Oh, he's back.
Just talking to the wife for 1 second.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my struggle, and I'm sure, Ryan, you feel the same, and Shido, I know that you go through it too. Like, I want to be part of these moves, I just don't know how to be, like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, some people can trade just by the volume, and and it's just a trade,
Yeah.
right? And I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not for me personally. I don't want to chase some trade just on volume. I'm not. I'm not a day trader. I've tried day trading. I suck at it. I've lost so much money. I mean, no. Let me find something I can invest in and build a position in, and take down some shares and stick them in a drawer somewhere. Like, give me something with a catalyst that's got a future, not a, like this chart here. It would make me sick to be stuck in that thing. But and I guess it's different for everyone. I mean, everybody's got different trading styles. Some people, I mean, if you look, you just want to, you need to make, once it flips, whatever. But the bigger moves is what attracts people to the OTC. That's what brings the liquidity. It's not a one tick flip. It's not date. It's a PvP environment already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you need something that is playable. That's this stuff here. These things never end well. You get something like that. Yeah, somebody maybe made some money. Good for that guy. But how many people got trapped in that? How much liquidity got sucked away right there?
I know, and as much as we, like, I see that, and as much as I could, like, if I were to complain about it, people say, well, a trade's a trade. But, like, I was doing that for a while, and I was like, okay, well, this has volume, and there's nothing going on, so I'm going to buy it. And I was the final buy, because there was, I mean, one of the reasons that I always look for when I'm entering a trade is like, why, if I mess up here and buy it a little too high, what is the reason that someone else will ever come and bid for this again? You know what I mean? And
Right.
if there's no
Yeah.
reason, then the chances are that you are the final buyer. And on a lot of these random pump things, where it just had, people say, well, it had volume, but, like, it's very frustrating, very frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shared something.
So there's been some conversation floating around about trying to.
I want to hear from Cheeto.
Yeah.
No, it's Joshua, go ahead, Joshua.
Oh, one brief second. So there's been some conversation floating around about creating and presenting a analyst or analyst coverage in general for OTC market stocks, being able to give like ratings to the value of the stock and rating on their communication with investors and traders, or some would call it a social rating, and being able to provide a spotlight for people to feel safer to trade OTC stocks and do it unbiasedly. If something like that were created, hypothetically, how do people feel about how that would affect the volume and liquidity in OTC markets? I mean, if it's done right, would it bring people back? Would it provide them, a avenue to start trading penny stocks instead of worrying about being up 24/7 to trade some crypto? What do you guys think?
I'll tell you that, I mean, I mean, if it's something that could help, I'd be all over it. And if it's something that could give people a little bit of comfort, and I think, part of that will come from, understanding if companies are ready to kind of open the books and be involved in it as well. But I mean, I'm not seeing anyone really trying anything. So if you're not trying something, you aren't doing anything,
What's your take on that, Shido?
Yeah, I mean, I would think it's a great idea to put something up, like, as you said, like some analyst stuff. Not sure how that would really look like in practical terms, but I would be
Well,
down.
hypothetically, it'd have to be unbiased. So I mean, I don't know. I thought about it quite a lot, and if there was a public parameters to certain ratings, so they could say, hey, if you gave this stock an A+, it met this certain criteria, and that would go off like revenue and products in the market and executive leadership, and they're current on their financials, and they, a number of different metrics. If there was a clear reason between each rating that somebody could look at and say, hey, if this stock's a C, here's why it's a C, so that it's not like a biased presentation. I think that it would help people learn to look at companies from a different perspective. And if they were able to see the different tiers of value the stock had and then line it up with, hey, it might have an A rating, but it doesn't communicate with investors at all. It doesn't say anything on social media. In fact, they don't even have a Twitter account. They don't even get on and do Q&As, whatever the cost. I may not want to be involved in that stock because even though it's good, I'm not going to know when it's going to move. There's no way to give me a tell unless they put out a press release. Being able to also see a social rating, then educate people on these things, and then have on top of it, open question and answer forums strictly on the due diligence of the companies, and try to cover as many quality companies in OTC markets as possible. I think it provide a platform that people can go to for due diligence outside of just OTC markets. And if we built a community around that, I think it can provide a influx in liquidity for traders that are willing to step back in and do it. Because honestly, people have been shell shocked with all the toxic funding and the promotional stuff, and executives that lie in their pockets and leave the people holding bags. There's so many negative things that I think it could do away with personally. If that explains it better.
It would be needed also in the space. It could give some I don't know, some new perspectives or energy or whatever. So I think it's a good idea.
Is that something you could get behind, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the components, the mechanisms matter. So on the one hand, so basically, if you take the same concept that they have on the big boards, you've got an analyst, they publish research, their clients pay for the research, and then their clients buy based off of their research, right? Okay. So you need something similar without actually being a broker dealer, because nobody wants to go get that license, right? But you can publish research and you can certainly sell research. I think legally, if you say something is a quote unquote buy, I think you need to be registered. So you would have to just be careful with the technicalities there. But the other side of this that is important, you need people to actually consume that research. And okay, so there's a subset of investors and traders that are native to the OTC. They're familiar with it. They know who you guys are. Like everybody who's traded OTC stocks knows who Kiko is. They know who Shito is. You know what I mean? They know who Zalmi is. There's a select group of people that they're known entities in the space. All right. And for lack of other options, like you guys are basically the stock analysts of the OTC, really, more or less. Okay. We need to bring in an audience that's not native to the OTC, because the people that are native to the OTC are already here. They're just not trading anything on the OTC. So this analyst, group or company or whatever, they need to have a pretty strong marketing arm, almost like a poster child of the OTC, to get people to look at the OTC as an opportunity exchange, not a cesspool. And so it's a two-pronged job, minimum two-pronged job.
Yeah,
I think we could get people directly from the crypto markets. I think we take somebody like Pat, and he could just pitch them, be like, look, if you're tired of staying up 24/7, worried about losing all your bank, come over and trade with us on OTC. Here's a platform where you can get all your due diligence. It's transparent. The ratings on the companies are simplistic.
I think you will have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time getting someone who is a crypto native to become an OTC trader with any type of time commitment. Yes, they are used to working insane hours. they're also used to not having a middleman F up their trade because they just stack skull and crossbones. So like that doesn't happen in crypto. You would think crypto would be, more risky than OTC stocks. And then for the most part, I'd say it probably is. But you're not going to wake up in crypto and find out that your token no longer trades. It can get rugged, right? But there are a lot less barriers to entry to trading crypto than there is OTC stocks. It should be completely the other way around, but whatever. So I don't know that that's the answer.
So the marketing would go out towards people that want to invest and be able to grow something more than a 4% return on their investment. Because I mean, you can go to a bank account and get so many percent of a return. You can go buy bonds or something boring and get so many percent of a return. But if we were able to, if you want to have a chance to get between 10 or 100% return on your investment, come check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Marlon has written an interesting thing to this discussion. If you guys see this, I'm convinced the OTC market won't go back to normal until the amendments to Rule 15C211 are removed. I suggest you all reach out to Congress. This rule removal will help liquidity, and we will see 10-time plays again. I mean, we see.
I don't disagree.
10 times. We all agreed. I think that the rule was bad. I would ask Marlon, what exactly does he want to be taken back from that rule? What exactly? What part exactly? That you have the stop signs again. I mean, you could argue you have them on expert now, and when they come back to yield, it's some kind of comeback, or I don't know. I mean, we were all really unhappy. I remember with Pat back then that it's coming. We all said it's not going to be good. But what parts exactly you guys think would be taken back, should be taken back?
Well, for me, I mean, it's a few things. First of all, like this whole unsolicited quotes thing, they should bring back the piggybacking, because these unsolicited quote stocks trade so strangely. Sometimes they run, it's fine, and then I think, because to me, like, my theory on it is that they were looking at regulation and they were saying, okay, we're about to be very busy with crypto regulation. We're about to be busy with a bunch of things. And from a budgetary or manpower perspective, just to kneecap this shit and then get focused on the other stuff is probably the way to go. You know what I mean? So as opposed to having to deal with individuals who are doing shady things, they just said, okay, we're going to get rid of all the stop signs, and then if they file and they dilute, that's their business. You know what I mean? And I feel like it was a decision that really put retail in the position of being fish in a barrel that are getting shot by note holders, and none of the power. And then when it came to companies merging in, the cost of merging into this market now versus the potential return. Like if I want to merge in, because I looked at a shell and I thought that would be cool. Like I could, and then I was like, okay, so I could get $5 of volume for the $500,000 I'm going to spend to merge into a shell. Like, what's the point? And so, and back in the day,
you're going to spend more than
different.
$500,000.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
depends
more
on the shell. Yeah. But
it
and
depends on their
back in the day,
financials, whether or not they're up to date.
Yeah, they could do a deal. They could do a custodianship, and then even the custodianship, like that was a clean process once until it became perverted, and made into a criminal enterprise. And so, I feel like the rule change made it. And then the funniest part is that they regulated traders into moving to the a market that they can't regulate at all. Like, so now it's forced them all into meme coins and stuff, which is like the ultimate cutthroat situation. So what have we achieved here? You know?
Yeah. And Marlon said that disclosure
Yeah,
requirements.
I'm sorry, I got to jump in real quick. I don't mean to interrupt, but the space is muted, Josh.
Can you hear it now?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I muted it because you said it was not muted.
Yeah, when you muted Zoom, we could still hear you here. It was weird.
Oh.
That's why I put the pancake thing in there. But then when you muted here, we couldn't hear anything. So that's something to think about.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Continue.
That's why we're doing this. Back to where we were.
So did they miss the whole thing there?
No, it was only for like a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, that was literally like the best part. They just missed out on all that.
Yeah, so I look. This has happened so many times today. What did I say?
It's okay. It'll be in the replay.
Yeah, it's on the live. Everybody's gonna hear. Everybody that listens to the live. It's already there.
This is hard.
So, anyways, like I said, so with the getting rid of the stop signs, I understand that from a regulatory standpoint, they thought it'd make their life easier. But then what they decided by doing that, they pushed retail traders into the most unregulated market of all, into crypto, where it's an absolute den of thieves. And then what they did is, so then they said, oh, well, we don't want to have to deal with any type of investigations, and therefore the retail trader just got pushed into the arms of note holders and some of the nastiest promotions of all time. And to me, in my opinion, it was a budgetary decision, and it has really put the small account trader, and that's the biggest part of it for me, is that this whole world that we're in now, every single day, a person who's just starting out, just has a small account, just got on their first job, their second job, just a newlywed, whatever, can't afford a house, can't afford a car, can't afford anything that they used to be able to, and now that dream of a trips to penny or trips to dollar runner is pushed out to a market where you have scammers from all over the world hacking your computer and taking your shit, and then if they do want to try, guess what? You're under the thumb of note holders, and you might get rugged anyways. You know what I mean? And so the stop signs really represented an opportunity for growth and a relief valve for retail when the note holders on the current reporting stocks got a little too greedy. You know what I mean? Because then they go, well, we found this evidence of a merger on the SOS, and they haven't raised the AS, they haven't done anything to it yet. We'll just do that then, and you guys can get your shit together and be a little less greedy. And now they don't have to. Like, it's a captive audience, and that's a problem. So
I think that's a really great synopsis of where we are.
Yep. And a lot of people have just told me, hey, bro, like, because OTC method has shrunk considerably since the rule change, and a lot of people have said to me the same thing. You know what? I'm done trading forever, like because I can't afford to stay up all night and morning for NASDAQ pre-market and aftermarket, where all the gains are. One bad options move has erased my account, and I can't seem to string together a trade on the OTC, so I'm just done trading. And and that's just the nucleus of everything that's going on. I'm done trading. I'm done trying to buy a house. I'm done trying to buy a car. I'm done wanting to have kids. Because this is the culture now, and it really pisses me off.
Strongly agree, man. I think what Marlon was saying is very valid. Now, here's the question: how do we get enough people to sign a petition to go at Congress and say, "Hey, remove this ruling"? Yeah, maybe people need to be able to fill out a little questionnaire or something and show they have some type of competency, or maybe they just sign a form that completely relinquishes other people's liability for them trading however they want.
There were, I want to say, hundreds of comments in the leading up to the new rule change. There were, like, if you go look at the thread, I think it's still there. There were so many comments talking about how bad this was going to end up. I made a comment myself. I don't know if you guys did, but I don't.
Yeah,
I just don't. Yeah, I don't think this rule is going to change. I don't think there's any. I think there's zero bandwidth at the SEC to do anything that has anything to do with OTC stocks. They literally said, "Okay, OTC markets and FINRA, you guys handle this shit." That's literally what they did. And to ensure that we don't have to get involved with it, if they don't stay current, you're not allowed to let them trade. That's basically what the SEC did. I mean, the SEC has hated penny stocks forever, right? So,
that's exactly what they did. It was just a budgetary manpower decision. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, people shouldn't forget that the SEC, they did dirty to OTC stocks before that rule was in place, because the stop signs, they were great, but they were only for the non-SEC filing companies. If you have been an SEC filer and delinquent for a long time, they had, I don't know if you guys remember, they had these phases where they suddenly revoked hundreds of SEC filing companies that stopped filing. So that was a crazy time. I remember that. It was unbelievable. I was waking up to revoke tickers at that time until I realized what the deal is. So they were working against these companies for a while now, before they put that rule in place to put stuff into extra.
To be fair, the companies that were revoked during that time period that you're talking about, those were all companies where the SEC found that their registration with the state had been revoked, and they had made an attempt to reach out to the company. I know this because one of the companies I had a big position in the company got revoked, and they're like, "What the frick, man?" And I mean, I knew that the company was basically a ghost anyways, but the SEC said, "Yeah, it's a ghost." So that's everything that they revoked was warranted. I didn't like it because I want to sell my shares, but
for sure.
Fundamentally, I agreed with that move, which you will rarely see me fundamentally agree with anything that happens here. But fundamentally, I did agree with that.
Yeah, but they only did it to SEC filing companies. They didn't revoke any of the non-SEC filers, because they can't. I think they didn't have the authority about those. I think to revoke the tick. I mean, you know what I mean. It was all SEC filing companies, where a judge suddenly then revoked the license. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
During the time that you guys are talking about, I was sitting there. I spent all day at this current time of my life on OTC markets, talking to public companies. That's all I did, because I was selling press releases, financial filings, which included the XBRL tagging and the Edgar. So it was everything from 8Ks to Super 8Ks to whatever. And we were doing email campaigns and social media promotions and website builds, all for public companies. So I was really immersed in it, just to give an inkling as to why the SEC did what Ryan was talking about, and it was a good thing. One of the people that I put out press releases for, I looked him up. The CEO disappeared for a second. I was like, I don't know where he went, but he was putting out strong, consistent press releases, and that meant money for me. So I tried to find him. I looked up on OTC Markets under company profile, and his address was like 2 miles from where I live. I went right there, and it was an empty
what did he
lot
say?
beside a house. It was an empty lot, just a mowed empty lot sitting beside a house. And it was supposed to be a mining company. There was a lot of stuff that was going on back then. So if the SEC tried to contact people, OTC Markets, they kind of got more stringent on their communication standards. Couldn't go update your profile without paying, and all these other regulatory stuff. Press releases, they had a ton of fake press releases go out on different platforms. I mean, huge lawsuits, if you look them up, where somebody that was not part of the company put out press that would manipulate the stock in such a grandiose way that somebody made a buttload of money, and it wasn't even real. They had to redact the press release. They couldn't take it down from every website. There's a lot of weird stuff that happened for quite a number of years, and people found ways to do things to make tons of money in an unreal way. So, I mean, them being able to contact people and find out, hey, you're a real company. Hey, you're reporting. You really do have an office. Okay, then why don't you update these things and continue trading? Or if nobody responds, you're just out. I mean, there was a lot of companies got swept out like that. It was fine. And it's the way it should be. I like the fact they're making companies report more, but I honestly don't believe that an OTC market company should be having to do XBRL tagging, because it doesn't make any damn sense unless they're listed and they have enough, volume and liquidity and size of company to have that type of reporting standards. But they make these little tiny rinky-dink OTC companies get XBRL tagging. What that means, when you look at like financials, every single line item has an individual tag, and each individual. So basically, the system's set up where you can take a bank that's listed on a public market that's not an OTC company, and you can compare and contrast other companies that are listed by that individual line item. I mean, that's the reason they did it. Fine, great. But, how are you going to do that with OTC companies? It's really whack. So there's a lot of hoops they put for OTC companies that don't make it advantageous for them to trade on OTC markets. But, the ones that do bust their ass to make it happen, catch up on their filings, get audited, actually care about, building out a complete business. Shoot, there needs to be more exposure for them, because, that's a company worth trading. It's a company worth holding the position in, not being scared it's going to disappear overnight. I mean, LTNC ain't going to disappear overnight. It's come too damn far. It's got too many people involved with it. They've got products in the market. You can go to Amazon and find it. They've got a good executive leadership. It's not one guy who's a CEO and nobody else checks. There's no other checks and balances. And they have board. Like, there's good reasons for people to trade in OTC. I think we can bring exposure to it, and that's what this show's about. So I don't know if there's a way. I don't think that we're going to change that ruling, but if there's a way for us to provide the right attention to companies that people can make some money in, let's do it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem also with doing back the rule is now that OTC Markets obviously has made a good business out of it. So they would definitely go to all lengths that this won't get taken back, because if companies wouldn't need to file anymore, they would feel it big time, So it's really tough to see it taken back.
I heard a CEO say, it may have even been Ryan, I don't remember, but OTC markets really puts the majority of their focus on the banks that take up the QX platform or their QX listing of companies, because they make so much money on them. They don't put out, they're not doing marketing. They're not going to go and do a Q&A. They're so vanilla, it's crazy. I've called them. I've tried to get their business and they really don't care because they're a bank. But that's where most of their bread comes from. Listed QX companies that are going to put a lot of money into staying up with OTC markets. But these pink sheets and the QB companies, they're not going to get a lot of attention, so they really have to beat down OTC markets door to get them to follow through on stuff. I mean, am I saying this right, Ryan, or can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, and two, I think we have to recognize OTCM is a business, and they're going to make mistakes too, like all businesses do from time to time, right?
Yep.
So look, when the 211 came in, it was a huge boon for them. They had so many clients, new clients that were paying so much so that it was like massive delays getting just approval to file OTCIQ, right? So I think that they've lost a lot of those clients now because the liquidity is not there to keep some of them around. I mean, there's a lot of OTC companies are like, man, I can't even afford to pay the fees now, because they used to didn't have to pay. There used to be no cost to update your profile in OTCM. Now, just to do that, it's like
you got to pay for that.
You have to pay now. Yeah, it's $3,000 a year just to have access to update. But there's no point in just having that if you're not a filer, because you have to be a filer now. So really, it's like, I don't even know. It's like $8,000, $9,000. It's not insignificant for a small company. But yeah, their big money is the OTC QX, where they're getting most. Like if you go look at their revenue, look at their filings, you will see where they get their revenue from. Their subscribers from OTC Link, those revenues have gone down. Their revenues, they are hurting comparatively, and I think until liquidity picks up, they will continue to do so.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's crazy. But it is what it is, right? So you got to jump through the hoops and play the game and spend the money to be able to stay in line and keep doing what you're doing. There's no way around it, man. Unless you get your shit together and list. And that's not easy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I don't know if what else you guys want to talk about at the moment, but today was just a test run. Make sure everything works. Everybody could hear us. So we learned we don't mute Twitter Space because then they can't hear everything else going on. We learned how to see the chat from different places. I think the feed looks good. I think we could hear everybody clear and crisp, a lot better than what was just on a space by itself. And we had almost 200 people come on just because they can see video. So I'm curious, and we didn't even market it at all. I mean, we didn't tell people ahead of time. It was like 10 minutes before I put up a post. So I look forward to coming back next week and having a company that we can do a live Q&A with. So guys, thank you so much for joining OTC or JRC Stock Talk. We're going to come right back at you with some hard-hitting due diligence information right from the horse's mouth as early as next week. Looking forward to having Ryan back on here at some point, and these guys for open mics, randomly throughout the week. So we're going to be pumping out information. Guys, let's build this community up. Share the space. Go and follow us on Twitter. You have at Kiko Stocks, which you can see right there under his picture. Shido _74. Ryan Shadle, if you don't have his handle, you can find it easy. And then follow JRC Spaces, man. DM us if you have questions. We're here to help people get better at building up their portfolio, knowing where to look for information. Shido's amazing with the regulatory filings, the cycles for financials, knowing what forms and things people have to go through. Kiko can answer questions on, trading patterns and, due diligence information, a lot of info on so many companies. I can't name them. Ryan, great wealth of knowledge on cryptocurrencies, on public companies, the do's and don'ts. And I'm here to help you guys any way we can. So we'll be back at you hopefully Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern, and again Thursday at 4:30 Eastern. So stay tuned. This is just the beginning. You guys have anything to say?
No, that's just great. Working well.
Yeah, was fun. More of
Yeah,
that.
Ryan,
for
thanks
having
for
me up.
joining us, man.
Absolutely, man. Glad to be here.
All right, guys, I'll see you again Tuesday. Have a great weekend. God bless, and I'll talk to you again soon.
See you later.
Have a good one.